Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of the 433 podcast. I'm joined again by AP for this second Arsenal edition after a very needed win yesterday. How's it going?
Oh my goodness. That was such a relief. But yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me again.
No problem. Well, hopefully we can. Yeah, I know there wasn't an episode for the Brighton game because we were both busy, but when we do have an episode for the Arsenal games, yeah, hopefully you can join me on every one of them. But yeah,
Sounds good.
quite the roller coaster week it's been.
I know, mate. It has been up and down. Can I just say something? I wanted to correct something that I said in the previous podcast. I said in our invincible season,
Hmm.
we had 73 or 74 points. I went
Yeah.
back and checked it, and we actually had 90 points,
Oh,
and that has only been beaten four times since that happened. This year may be the fifth, given Liverpool on like 86 or something like that.
yeah.
So people can say what they want. 90 points is respectable.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, well, that completely changes half the conversation we had last
I
week.
know. I know it does. It does. It
And we
really
should both
does.
know that, but oh well. We're still
I
pretty
know.
young when it happened, unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember it, but I didn't appreciate it like I should have. Anyway, back to why we're here.
Yeah, well, obviously the main point of this episode is to talk about the Southampton Arsenal game, but I don't think we can completely move past what happened last weekend with the 2-1 loss against Brighton.
No, that was shocking to
It's
say the
led
least.
to a very rough week. I mean, overall, if you actually looked at like the game, we didn't play that badly. It was just back to the normal stupid mistakes and not being able to close out games. I mean, we smashed them on possession. I know the chances were quite similar, but there were large periods of the game where we were dominating them.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't look like they were going to trouble us too much until we scored, and it's like I don't know, we just collapsed after that. It
But I
was
think that's
pretty standard bottle job.
yeah, that's the thing. That's the story of our season. There's been, I think,
Yep.
what, 10 games or whatever where we've been leading at half time and we've only won two of them or something. Like,
Oh my goodness.
it's yeah, there's some pretty horrifying stats around there. I mean, the Mope incident, I don't think that it'd be ridiculous to blame him for that, and I can't believe some people are trying to do that. He didn't mean anything. I didn't appreciate I think he's as bad as Genduzi. What Genduzi did was bad, and he definitely shouldn't have done that. But you can tell that they're both as mouthy as each other. Like, he was
Oh,
very
of
much
course, of
trying to
course.
make it out as if it was all an Arsenal problem, but no. I mean, I've
Hey,
heard rumours coming out about him apparently saying that he'll earn more than Mofe will ever get, or something ridiculous like that. It's like, surely that couldn't have been said.
yeah, I mean, I seen that. I think it was quoted by the Daily Mirror or something. They claim sources said, so I'm struggling to uh, necessarily say that was 100% true. If it is the case, I'll be quite disappointed. That's not something I want to hear from our players, regardless of whether it's true or not. I'm all for like talking big, and a little bit of a mean streak is nice
Mm.
in players.
No, we've
We
missed it.
need that.
Mm.
We don't want to be that soft touch which we've been over the last few years, and we still are. Um, players like Henri Vieira, they were arrogant, but they could back it up.
Yeah,
I
Genduzi's definitely
don't.
into a stage where he thinks he's a bigger player than he is. Like,
It's
there's a
getting a
little
little
bit of
bit
an
too
ego
big for his
problem.
boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the first time. I think he had issues with Arteta or something when we had our break in Dubai. He got left out of the team soon after that. I remember all of that happening behind the scenes. Again, I don't know. We just need to back it up if he's going to be saying and doing things.
Something interesting in relation to that I heard Sol Campbell saying yesterday was that he reckons part of the issue is that there's no one who's in that dressing room at the moment who will tell him to pack it in. They're all like enablers for him because of that. Like, if you look at like the leaders of the dressing room nowadays are kind of like Aubameyang, Lacazette, maybe Ozil. I don't know what goes on there, but they're more kind of, I don't know, more about Instagram and stuff like that. They're not like role models as what you'd want for young players. So I think Ganduzi might have got caught up in that a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely true. He seems quite close to players like Aubameyang. That when you see the training videos and pictures, they're always hanging out together, this
Exactly.
that, and the other. So
But they
I
get
mean,
away with that because they're somewhat established players. Like, and
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is a baller. He
yeah,
can do and
exactly.
say what he wants.
Exactly. He can wrap his cars in horrible like chrome and get away with it. Whereas like, yeah, Guendouzi not so much. But then that
Not
seems
yet.
to be why he may have been left out of the team for yesterday's game.
Yeah, yeah. It seemed like some sort of punishment. I was surprised he didn't get banned. I'll be completely honest with you. He put his hand on someone's neck.
I
Like,
mean, I can see it
like,
from that side that like in
ugh.
most other circumstances, I think he would have been. But the fact that Mopé was like doing disrespectful things on interviews and things like that, they probably just decided, especially as Leno got injured as well, that it was better just not to leave it and not to show that they were siding with a particular team. Because at the
Yeah,
end of the
yeah.
day,
I
no
mean,
no real damage was done. It wasn't like there was
no,
like
no.
he really. I know he like sort of grabbed his throat, but there was no like flailing of fists or anything like that. I mean, yeah, 99% of the time they probably would have done something, but I can kind of
Yeah.
get why.
No, that's true. That's a good point. I didn't look at it that way.
But yeah, it was a pretty rough week after that. I mean, I was getting a lot of shit at work. I'm pretty used to that now, to be honest. It's pretty standard being the only Arsenal fan in the office. But
Oof.
yeah, things
Yeah.
perked up a bit yesterday, didn't they? I mean, I was thinking going into it that I had absolutely no hope for it. I know Southampton haven't been on the best run since, well, the last 3 games that they've played, but I don't know. We don't usually
Yeah.
do well going down there, and after the weekend, most hope had dissipated for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was not looking forward to it. By our records, it would probably be one of the worst places to have to go to in the situation we were in. Losing to City away, losing to Brighton away. We never do good at either of those grounds, and having to come to Southampton. I can't remember when we lost one there. I'm sure we did at some point.
I think we've probably
Off the
played
top of my head, I
them.
can't tell you.
Well, let's say they've been up there like in the top league for what 7 years now, maybe, and we've
I
definitely
feel like
lost
maybe
down
once.
there. We've lost down there far more than we've got a result. 100%.
Oh, 100%. 100%. 100%. It's St. Mary's is just one of those places, unfortunately. Um, we seem to have a lot of bogey teams and a lot of bogey grounds, which I think is why we're in this situation.
Mm. Uh, well, what did you think about the initial lineup when you first saw it?
I was surprised that Nketiah was back up top.
Yeah,
We'll get onto that later on, of course, because he scored, and I guess you could say justified his selection in a way. Um,
I'm getting a bit weirded
yeah,
out of all like I know it wasn't quite a 4-4-2, but it's like he's almost kind of played a 4-4-2 in the last 4 games, last 2 games, and it's kind of weirded me out because when was the last time that happened at Arsenal? Like before Wenger?
I mean,
It's
yeah,
not like us because it kind of was him and Aubameyang sort of up front with Pepe. Well, I don't think Pepe actually did anything all game, but he was supposed to be around there.
no,
But it was a little bit weird
yeah,
seeing that.
yeah, no, it was definitely I would say a pleasant change in this particular game anyway, because
Mm.
there was a positive result in the end,
Well,
but
even against Brighton, like the interplay between Aubameyang and Lacazette, there was something like actually some creativity going on there, which has been lacking. So I feel like maybe just cleaning the slate, making it really basic, could actually help us.
that was one of the positives I actually saw in the Brighton game was to see the way them two were linking up, like we saw
Mm.
them doing last year in the lead up to the final.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit odd again to have that get broken up and putting Nketiah back in. I was surprised to see Bellerin at right back because I don't think he's performed so well in the
Oh,
Brighton game. Even yesterday, he didn't
he
perform
was
so well. After
so
me,
poor. He
I
was
know.
so poor yesterday.
After me backing him in the when we
Yeah,
did our
this is what
last
I'm
review in the
saying. I
City game,
don't know
and
when the last time I can say like, oh yeah, Bellerin had a great game. When was that? Like Chelsea
I
when
don't
we
know.
went down to 10 men maybe? But that's only because he
Yeah,
scored. Did he actually play well aside from that?
mate.
He is so off the pace. He should just stick to his eco wars and maybe hang up his boots.
I keep on wanting to give him a chance. I don't know why. I really don't know why.
Just because
Because
he's
I think
been there
maybe
for
it's just
so long and he's one of the only things left from like most of our time supporting the club. So there's
I'm
obviously going to be
kind of holding.
nostalgia.
holding on to those, like his breakout season and the season after that, and I think everything he says off the pitch is right, and that makes me anyway. I don't want to talk about everyone. That makes me like him as a character to be in the team. I know a lot of people dislike him too,
He's definitely. I
for
think
whatever
he's got a
reasons,
clear head on
but
his shoulders. I know
yeah,
he has some pretty like weird ideas like outside of football, but that doesn't really mean anything. It's completely irrelevant.
no, uh, yeah,
Having Shaka
I'm
back
sure.
was a breath of fresh air.
I was surprised to see him back so suddenly. I know he was back.
It was
Um,
huge.
I was I was surprised to see him start like suddenly,
Yeah,
and we saw the difference.
completely changed the game. Like in terms, I know
Yeah.
second half was a bit questionable until we got that second goal, but in the first half, it just made us so much more comfortable. There was actually some structure to the entire team, but it's a little bit worrying almost that we're so reliant on Xhaka, who's I don't know, he's not even the best player. He's not even that good, but
It's
without him, we
it's
can't even play.
it's where we are. It's where we're at. It's just
Mm,
it's simple as that. That's our standard. We're more reliant on an average to decent player in our team than we are even our best player. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
mm,
That's Arsenal though. Doesn't make sense. Just
no,
doesn't.
it's that's the thing. You like if you were coming into this result and being like, "Oh, Arsenal, they've obviously had a good game coming back into it." That would paint a very pretty picture to what I was actually seeing yesterday. Like the first half was reasonable, but only because Southampton was so poor. And in the second
Mm,
half, it really could have gone exactly the same way as the Southampton game. We basically got away with it due to two really bad bits of defending. I know,
yeah,
like,
it's
yeah,
just
Nketiah did great to be still pressuring that ball and stuff, but it was two unforced errors, kind of, that led us to actually taking that game. We didn't really dominate as much as I'd like us to. It's still 3 points, which is obviously exactly what we wanted, but
and I know they say in any sort of situation a win's a win, and for us at the moment a win's a win. Like it really matters given
mm,
the situation we're in, and it's nice. I know it's been said several times since the game, but it was nice to see another team making mistakes and not us.
yeah, that's very, very true.
Uh,
But
yeah,
yeah, I think with McCarthy and stuff, I was like loads of people were slaying him, but I think it must just be down to a lack of match like preparation and not
probably.
just not being used to that situation because he obviously knew Nketiah was there. Like it wasn't that he was
Yeah,
blindsided; it was just yeah,
no,
not reacting quick enough.
no, that's simple as doing a David Luiz, as I like to call it.
It was nice to have a game off. He'll probably
Yeah.
be back in the line. He can't be back in the lineup, but yeah, we'll get into the team ratings now. So
Yes.
Martinez, I actually thought had a blinder.
Me too.
I've always really thought, like back in the day when he was like younger and playing with Wenger, and we had the 7-5 against Reading and stuff. Obviously,
Yes.
he was pretty shite back then. But since he's been coming in for Europa League, League Cup, and everything, I've been totally fine with having him in goal. And I don't think we need a goon like Joe Hart coming in.
No, no, no. Martinez is good. He's solid. He's a solid backup.
Hmm.
He pulled off some brilliant saves. He was kicking the ball from his position to Aubameyang, Edison style.
Yeah,
Uh,
Aubameyang really should have scored off one of those.
he I think there was one in particular where he brought it down well, and then his pass into the box to Nketiah just wasn't powerful enough and got
Hmm.
intercepted. Yeah, he could have even gone for goal,
I
but
think he should have done for
so
that.
he should have. I mean, I know he's right-footed, but someone of his quality can do that on his left, or at least test the keeper. But just see Martinez that fall to his knees after Aubameyang
Yeah,
missed that chance. I
that
was like,
missed
okay,
out on
cool.
his
I'm not.
first assist.
Yeah, no, I was liking that. I think he's been good. He's been good since he's come in. He hasn't been at fault for any of the goals in the Brighton game. He was well, obviously he had a clean sheet in the game yesterday. So
Hmm. I think I think I'd give him a 9. You know,
I
because
was I was gonna go for 8 or 9.
I don't think he put a foot wrong. It's his first start since something like 2017.
Yes.
And I think, yeah, he thoroughly deserves it. Didn't make a mistake. And one of his saves really did save us from a goal, which would have completely blown us out of the water.
No, of course, of course. He was. I was very, very impressed by him, and I feel a little bit more confident just having him there. Whereas back in the day when we had keeper injuries or whatever it was, we spoke about this last time, but we had some horrific first team keepers and horrific backup keepers. So
I was so
it's nice. It's a
confident in
nice
him.
change.
I was so confident in him that I put him in my fantasy team.
Oh my god. Oh my lord.
Well, you get
Putting an Arsenal goalkeeper in your fantasy team.
yeah, you get a lot of saves points though. You got to think about that.
Oh god, mate, I've forgotten about fantasy team completely. I think I forgot in like December, so I don't know where. I need to log on and check.
Well,
I've
I had a
just
mare this week because
flopped.
I ended up with Martial on the bench getting like 21 points, so
Oh,
I pretty much cried at
oh,
that stage. But yeah, back.
that's pain. I
Forget
can't take
about
the
it. Let's
heartache.
not talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
United
yeah.
players.
No,
I
no,
want to
no,
know
no, no,
about
no.
Martial. So Tierney,
Unnecessary.
what do you think about him yesterday?
Um, I mean, the only bit that really stood out for me was that ball that he just pinged from his left back position to Aubameyang, which again Aubameyang hit the crossbar.
I think that was actually a
Otherwise,
save by McCarthy, like a fingertip save.
was
Like
it?
push it, yeah. Like I didn't realise at the time, but it was
Oh,
getting talked about half time, and he literally got like one fingertip to that was like enough
okay.
to push it off. But
Oh wow. Well, if that is the case, it's an amazing save. If it wasn't the case, Aubameyang needs to do better, regardless of how close he was to the goal. He's 1-on-1 with the keeper.
yeah, I
Um,
couldn't even imagine him not scoring that. But he does
uh,
have that. It's very occasional, but sometimes like the sitters he just can't do.
yeah, it's one of those like people. I think we discussed about Mohamed Salah. We've spoken about him before with our Liverpool friend. But the amount of sheer chances that he gets and the amount of chances he misses. Forget this season. I mean, like last season when he was scored a ridiculous amount of
Mm,
goals. The amount of chances he got per goal was, I don't know,
yeah,
quite a lot. And you do see that with Aubameyang. That does get glossed over a bit because the rest of our team is shocking and he's literally the best thing to happen to us. And so that gets forgotten often and overlooked. But I guess someone of that quality, I don't want to say it's acceptable, but anyway, we're
he gets
talking
away
about
with it.
Aubameyang when we should be talking about Tierney.
Yeah. I didn't. I don't know. I know he was very much doing his defensive duties, but I don't think he was too spectacular yesterday.
It
I
wasn't.
wasn't that impressed. It's one of his
Uh,
poorer games, I think, but it's just going to be match sharpness. Like he's barely played. He's had a
he,
shocking
he was
season, like, in terms of his
he
injuries.
was he came off due to cramp in the end, so he's
Mm.
actually back in contention for the games. So that's tell you talking about match sharpness. There you go, match sharpness and fitness. If he's
Thank God
cramping up
it's
at
not
70
another injury
minutes.
for him.
Oh, I know. I was when when I was talking to you guys, and you're like Tierney's injured. I was like, oh my goodness, every game,
Yeah,
every single game. But if it's just cramps, then it's just cramps.
I don't think you can really give him more than. I was thinking 4, but probably 5, just to be nice to him.
I, I was I don't recall him doing anything in particular wrong. He didn't really do much.
Mm.
He just didn't do much. So maybe something like a 5, I would think would be fair.
Yeah. Mustafi, on the other hand, he was all right. There was a few hairy moments.
Standard.
Yeah, there's not nothing too spectacular to talk about him. Other than the fact that like, he was on a yellow for quite a long time, I think, and he did well not
Yeah.
to actually do anything more stupid than he already was.
He made a decision. I'm just going to coast the rest of the game.
Mm.
Sensible decision in the end, if that was the case.
I think I'd probably give him another 5.
Yep, yep. Totally agree. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Now the man of the match himself, Rob Holding.
Oh, Holding was good.
Absolutely unbelievable. I
I think he had the most passes out of anyone in the team. Something
Yeah,
ridiculous like
we were
that.
talking about him last week and saying how obviously he has had unbelievable performances in the past and how
Yeah,
we've really missed those. But if he can
yeah.
get a little bit of form and a partnership going with Mustafi, it seems just to the end of the season that could do so much for him going forward, couldn't it?
No, 100% agree. He's a good player in there. We've seen some great performances. Yesterday was another good performance. It will be nice. He's one of those players I'd like to see. Ideally, starting for us for the next like at least 5 years. Put in
Oh,
someone next to
100%.
him.
Like
He's got all the attributes to
him
be
and
like a
Saliba,
solid centre back. Yeah.
no messing.
Oh.
Just let's go with
Love
it and forget
Saliba.
everyone else. Um, I don't know though. Like I was reading, I think he won like 100% of his aerial duels. Like
Yep.
made some major tackles. Like it was just a perfect all-round performance.
Yep.
Don't think you could say
What's
anything else about it.
no, that's it.
Is he getting the
But
10? That's the question.
I,
I,
but was he really?
I think a nine's
I
probably like the right level for him.
yeah, because 10 would be given for the same performance against a Man City, a Liverpool, a
Exactly.
United, a Tottenham. Then I'd give him a 10, but he was against who he was against.
Exactly.
I don't want to take anything away from Southampton, but obviously,
That's the thing. Like I think, yeah, given the level, like although he was
yeah,
like really good, he wasn't like unplayable.
challenge. He wasn't challenged
Yeah.
as much as he could have been.
Although saying that,
Uh,
Ings has got one goal less than Aubameyang now. Like he
yeah.
shut him up and we didn't even notice him. He had him in his pocket. So there's something to be
That
said
is
about
that.
that.
No. That is true. That is true.
But
Yeah,
yeah, we'll go with the
still not
nine.
on the same level.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got to
agreed.
keep the tens in the locker, and we already did one last week. So got to keep it chill. Keep it chill. Well, we've already spoken about him a bit, but Hector, I was disgusted by him yesterday. To be honest, like everyone else in the team, like Pepe obviously will come on to him was a bit like non-existent, but out of everyone in the
Yeah.
team, Bellerin was by far the worst. I think I read that he gave away the ball 11 times in the
Oh
33
my god.
minutes, like first 33 minutes or something.
Oh my god.
Like I don't think it's a good word to say about him from yesterday. Apart from he had that one shot, but that was all after
Yeah.
he overplayed a
Which
pass to Pepe.
yeah. Wasn't that same shot the one that just hit the defender straight?
Yeah. Although for Bellerin,
Yeah.
that's quite good because normally he skies it. But I don't know what you think, but I'm feeling like a 2 or a 3. I was really,
That's
really,
that's
I was sickened by it, to be honest.
I was gonna go for a 2. There wasn't
Yeah.
anything in particularly positive that he
Number
did.
2 gets the 2.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Ceballos, I thought he was a bit questionable as well. He didn't
he
have one of his better
he
games.
No, I felt like he gave the ball away a few times. Some of his like defending, he was flicking the ball up and it was going to defenders. I remember once it went to Redmond. God, yeah, no, he's
I think from these games and well, the little that we saw him in the first half, I don't think there's enough there to keep him. I know he does. It sounds like he doesn't want to stay, but I wouldn't be too upset if he doesn't come back for another season.
who would we? I don't. He's starting all our games at the moment because we
But
just
that's the
don't have
thing.
anyone else. That's the thing.
We're using him like a box to box, like exactly how we wanted Cazorla to play. Like
Yeah.
once he'd moved back from Cam and Mesut had joined him, Cazorla was sitting there as that secondary midfielder. We're expecting that from him, but he's not quite good enough in either directions. If he was absolutely like phenomenal going forward and still a bit lackluster defensively, then I think we'd let it go. But I just don't. He's just not quite good enough, and I feel like we do better with a proper ball winning midfielder there instead.
No, I think I agree with you. I don't know how he fits into the team, even in the short term. I mean, the short term is the rest of the season, I
Mm.
guess, but
He's the kind of guy that's
medium
just going
term,
to end up like chilling at Sevilla or somewhere like that for like most of his career. He's about that level.
yeah.
Never know. I might
Uh,
eat my words and he'll end up starting for Madrid for the next 10 years, but I don't see it.
and then just imagine that the regret looking back on this conversation.
But that's the
Not another
question:
one.
how much are Real going to put him up for? Because they're going to overvalue him massively. I think Perez or whoever, someone in the board is quite a fan of him. But I don't know. He's just not consistent enough for me. Now I think 5 again. I think it'd be harsh to really like negatively hit him. I don't know. Maybe a 4.
Yeah, I think a 5. I'd go with a 5 for Sabas. 4. I feel like 4 would be a bit harsh. Um, I'd go for a 5 personally.
Okay, so well, I think best man in the midfield, other than Saka, who was well, he did a bit of everything.
Oof.
Xhaka did
Yeah.
really well yesterday, I thought. Just really solid, keeping the ball flowing, like not just removing that element of panic that we seem to have without him in the midfield.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go ahead and say it was his, like, the best we'll ever see of him, but that's what you expect of him, sitting there in his position,
Mm.
keeping things ticking, keeping us comfortable as possible.
I think he's definitely worth an 8.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a solid score.
So Saka, I think probably the third best player on the pitch. Like he's proving time and time again that he's a quality player.
This kid keeps impressing me, man. I'm just there's two things I hope don't happen. Either he loses this over the summer and comes back and he's just a shadow of himself, Bellerin-esque sort of situation. I really hope that doesn't happen. And also, I hope he signs a contract and doesn't just leave. That would be even worse.
I guess like on the first point, I think we've had the COVID gap, which is longer than even a summer gap, and he's come back and he's still firing. I think hopefully this isn't like a flash in the pan thing, because I mean
Fingers crossed.
he's been doing it for the majority of the season now, and this is a longer season. As for the contract, I've got no faith. I mean, we're supposed to have signed that Sky Sports guy. He's the hard, like bad cop negotiator, and he doesn't seem to have done anything yet. I don't know if he's still on his yacht somewhere with all our
Yeah,
transfer
the
like
team,
money.
yeah, that Team Sky cycling negotiator dude. Oh, I don't know what's going on. We've signed Luis to another deal, Mari and
Well, that's the thing. I
Cedric
keep hearing that
to
we've
long-term
basically
deals,
spent
and
all our transfer like window money already.
I don't know if that's the case. I don't know what to do. I think I'd just finish this and cry.
I think
Just
you've
sit in
got
my
to
bed
take
and
that with a
cry.
pinch of salt because we were told
It
the
can't be.
exact same thing by all the press last year. How we had like 35 million to spend, and then we ended up spending like technically like 80 to 100. So you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. But COVID is going to have had an impact.
Yeah, I'm just going with the idea that the media, whatever we're hearing, I don't believe it until it happens. I just can't believe
It's
it.
just one of those
Like,
stories they
why
like.
it wouldn't make sense. Like, are they trying to ruin the club? If they have done that, they are trying to ruin the club. They're not trying to help it, and they're not being negligent. They're actively trying to ruin us. If they've done that,
Yeah.
I don't know what else. That's it. They are. If that is the case, so I can't imagine it is the case. I don't think they're actively trying to ruin us. It's if anything, management has been too passive, which is why we're in this situation for the last like 10, 15 years. I mean,
I mean, at the
they
moment,
just
I feel like, well, he must be on like a pittance. Like he's probably. I think he
oh
did get a little. Did he get like a slight boost or something? But he's probably on like barely anything. So if you just give him like 80 or something, just to give him whatever he wants for Christ's sake, just to get it done.
yeah
Because I'm not that hopeful about Aubameyang anymore. I don't. I really think he'll probably be gone. I'm starting to feel like I know you could say he's been unlucky in the last few games, but I don't know if he's quite 100% there. I don't. It's hard to say, but it like you could easily start leaning towards. Oh, he's not quite playing as well because he's got an eye on a move potentially. But if that happens and Ozil happens, we've got enough money to start throwing a few other decent contracts around without being stupid. So yeah,
yeah.
you've got to keep him if we're actually gonna try and move forward with the club long term, 100%.
It would be the worst. It would be the worst decision we could make to not keep him. I mean, he's an academy graduate, and he's showing like levels of maturity which you don't expect from an 18-year-old.
But that's the
Not
thing. I
not
mean,
not for as prolonged in a team like us as well.
but where
He
do
plays
you
with no pressure.
like? What sort of signal does it send to anyone coming out of our academy if the like best graduate we've had in years does well for one season and then leaves? It just shows
Yeah,
that shows us as a stepping stone.
yeah. No, that's you took the words out of my mouth there. We've sort of been a stepping stone for a lot of players, and this would just take the cake.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would be a new low. But yeah, I think an eight's probably good for him.
Yep, yep, yep.
Aubameyang, I think that one's a tough one. because I really think, although he was good with his tracking back, like his overall
He
play was
made
quite nice.
yeah, he made some good runs. His finishing was not as good as it could have been.
No, I feel
That
like
was
because he had at least a couple of decent chances and then couldn't quite do that pass across the Lacazette. I feel like you've got to
mm,
take a little bit off. I mean, if he put that away and got an assist, you'd be talking about a 9.
yeah, it changes everything.
Hmm. I don't think I wouldn't want to see him getting higher than a 7. I don't think it'd be
Yeah,
harsh
I
to
was
put
going
him
to go
much
for a
lower.
6.
Yeah, I
I
think
was
6.
going to say
You might
6.
be right. You know.
He was above average, but he didn't really contribute as much as you'd have wanted him to
Yeah.
for a player of his ability. The fact that he's a best player, he's a goal scorer, didn't score, missed some chances, didn't assist, even though he tried to. It just didn't work out for him. But he didn't do any. Like you said, some good tracking back, some good runs.
Need him to get a goal against Southampton. No, Sheffield, if possible, because it's starting to
That would be
become a
nice.
mini drought at the moment.
I think he's been hanging on 49 Premier League goals. I know we're talking about Sheffield, which is a FA Cup game, but I think he's on 49 Premier League goals or something.
Yeah, he's definitely
Um,
falling off the pace for that golden
so
boot this season.
yeah, he's no, he needs to get back in. Yeah, Sheffield might be a good game. Well, any game's a good game. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter who you're against when you're that good.
yeah, but yeah, I think we'll go with the 6 for that. I think that's fair. Pepe, another Casper the Friendly
Just
Ghost appearance.
yeah, it just wasn't really there.
I'm actually
What
starting
can you
to.
say about that?
I'm starting to think that partially it's down to how poor Bellerin is playing.
I think it definitely contributes
Because
because on the left, I feel like we've been good on the left
mm,
because of our fullback and Aubameyang. So whether it's Kolasinac or
well, he's
Tierney,
barely getting past to. Like in the first half of the season,
yeah,
I thought players kind of would like you could clearly notice it, and I thought part of it was down to the fact that they didn't quite trust him in the team yet. They didn't want to like overuse him, but he barely gets any of the ball, and whenever it is, it's usually in shitty situations, which he wasn't getting when he was playing at Lille.
no, yeah.
He's always getting
It's
played into space.
it's. I definitely think the the fullback behind him definitely contributes to him being his threat being negated.
I'd like
And
to
yeah, if they're
see
giving him the
what he's like with
go on,
Suarez in behind. Like once he comes, old Cedric. Once he's
yeah, yeah.
off the doctor's bench.
Hopefully that's soon. Even having Maitland-Niles behind him in the meantime, I mean, surely that's going to be some sort of improvement
Yeah, I don't.
to what we have at the moment.
I can't see Bellerin playing again. Well,
He
not
will
at
though.
least next year. Yeah, I guess we've got to plant those trees.
Yeah,
I mean, does that count if he's not playing?
he said if Arsenal, so
Okay, well we'll take it. But yeah,
trees can still be planted.
4 for Pepe. You meant a 3?
Yeah. Ooh, I mean, it just wasn't there. Like I don't know. Yeah,
Okay, I think a 3 is probably right. Not entirely
yeah,
his fault,
yeah,
but you can't give him
yeah.
a high score if he's literally
No,
done
no, no.
nothing all game.
Below average.
Mm,
Nothing happened. 72 million pounds.
yeah, Eddie
You
Nketiah,
want more?
the man of the well, he saved our bacon yesterday. Really,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
one of his better
Like
games.
I, like I was saying earlier on, he vindicated his selection.
Hundred
After
percent.
him being well, his selection being criticised, and we were talking about how his movement was good and his finishing wasn't. I mean, at least put the keeper under pressure. That's what you do as a striker in that situation, and he put it away.
It was kind of
What more can
more.
you ask
It
him?
was kind of more of the same yesterday. Although,
Yeah, the
like he was getting the right balls. Like he did score another goal that was called offside, but he did absolutely
yes,
everything
yeah,
right to perfection. His
yeah,
like
yeah,
timing of arrival into the box is absolutely
yeah.
brilliant. I think his best trait, alongside his energetic behaviour on the pitch. It's difficult because would you give him an 8? Because there's still areas of his game where he definitely could improve, but then there's a question of, well, do you give him a bit more benefit because of his age and how young he is coming in and starting for Arsenal?
And he's a striker, and he scored.
Yeah.
So
I was
if we're just talking
reading as
purely about the
well.
rating,
I think he scored 5 goals in his 7 starts for Arsenal, which is pretty bloody brilliant.
he's been a good goal scorer at every level he's played.
Mm.
So that's something you can expect from him. I don't know. I feel like an 8 might be too much,
Yeah.
but I was thinking a 7. But then, you know,
I was
we
actually
can give him an
impressed
8. He was a striker
yesterday.
who scored.
Some of his actual hold up, when we were getting into periods where we try and get the ball forward too quickly and then get into situations where there's no one actually there to assist, he was actually having the vision to realise that he needed to hold up the ball, which we haven't been seeing a lot of recently. So I was actually really impressed by that. But yeah, I think seven's good. Like, he's on the right track, 100%.
Yeah,
And well, it seems like he's probably going to get played most games now.
I would think so. Yeah.
So what have we got on the bench? First one was Willock, who I like. I know he scored the goal, but he definitely wasn't like he didn't do anything else in the game really.
No, no, that was it.
I think
But that goal, that the significance of the goal.
it sealed it. It was that was when like Arsenal fans could actually let out a joint sigh of relief, because even when we score a goal
Yeah.
now, nobody like the first goal, nobody
No.
really cares at the moment because it's too dangerous
Look,
to start celebrating.
look. Even if we're 4-0 up at half time, I can't be confident after that Newcastle game all those years ago. I know that was a different squad completely, but
Different
I
era,
can't. I just
yeah.
can't. I can't be confident unless we're at least we're more than one up with like 2 minutes to go.
I
Essentially, what happened yesterday.
I think it's fair to probably give him a 6, given how short he was on the pitch, but the impact that he
Yeah,
had.
yeah. It would have
Um,
been a 5, but just because he scored, go for a 6.
then we pretty much had 3 towards the end of the game. Kolasinac, I think it's quite hard to really give him a rating. He barely noticed him getting involved. Uh, Same with Maitland-Niles, really.
Yeah, there just wasn't.
And then Lacazette, I think it's not the point of really giving him a rating, but how nonchalant he seems to be about having an 18-year-old starting in front of him. Like, surely this is I can't see the alarm bells when he's sitting there with his little umbrella with his legs up on the seat, like in front. Like, I don't know what's going on with him at the moment.
do, do you think that's similar signs to what you're talking about with Aubameyang? Like he just doesn't see
I
his
think they're
near
both
future
off.
here.
I think they're both gone.
Yeah, imagine that. A couple of years ago, that was the best thing to happen to us, having them two up front. Best thing to happen to us for years, and they could soon both be gone.
Yeah. Don't really know what to do about it though, because he hasn't scored away in 18 hours of football. So
No,
it's
it's
starting
it's hard
to.
it's hard to defend him. And he was one player of the year for us last year. He was our best player. Like if you look over
Mm,
the whole season, and he
100%.
won the Arsenal Player of the Year.
But does that make you
So
think that when Aubameyang goes, we should just really like just start him every game, maybe alongside Nketiah, and just give him another season if he doesn't want to go already?
yeah. I mean, it's an idea. I mean, I don't know how much of an option we're gonna have unless we have someone like Martinelli back and we decide to stick him with Nketiah up front. I mean, that would be a rapid rapid front
That
two,
would
but
be unbelievable. I don't even know what to think about. Like, I'd be really excited
oh,
by it, but also it's like, what are we doing at Arsenal anymore? If like we have to play like a combined purchase value of like 4 million worth of strikers, like it would be a weird time.
yeah, from something like I don't know, Lacazette and Aubameyang combined must have been like I don't know, like 50, 60, 60, 70 plus. I don't know what it was, to 4 million,
But we are
just
now
divided
like
by
we
10.
are the youngest squad in the league now, and I'm not saying
Really?
we are. That's
Oh, you
one
mean
thing to put against. Well, yeah, we're losing to teams like Brighton, but there's a lot of players with no experience here. They're just kids coming out of the academy. But
I mean, yeah, yeah.
there is a bit of a precedent to be like, if we are going to have this clear out, just let. Well, it worked for United. I'm not saying that we're going to suddenly turn around and win the league after a couple of seasons playing the youngsters, but what damage is it going to do? Spend the
Nothing
money
more
where we
than what's
really
currently
need it.
happening.
Exactly. Spend it where we
Yeah,
really need it and let these players progress. Because it doesn't happen enough in the Premier League anyway. And if we've got no money, don't just spray it at loads of 30-year-olds. Mainly use what we've already got in terms of the youth. And then, yeah, pick and choose some real talent to back it up.
yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
the only way to
don't
do
buy
it.
for this. Yeah, don't buy for the sake of it. Buy sensibly and buy what you really need and trust in what you've got, what has come through
But that's the thing that really
your academy.
frustrates me about well, two of the prospective transfer rumours that are going on. Number one, the Willian one, who I was talking to one of my mates who normally I would give him a lot of credit. He knows his stuff about football, maybe even more than I do. But he was really backing, saying that he'd be better than anything we have on the right wing at the moment. And I just don't think that's true.
I mean, why would you buy someone on the right wing when you spend that much money on
Well,
Pepe
we've got that.
and you have other players
We've
that can
got
play there?
Nelson, who's absolutely fine there as a backup, and then
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
also this Mkhitaryan swap for Cliver. It's just, do we need this? Like, are we just binning
Don't
off
know.
Nelson now? It's like he not really going to get a chance, even though half the game he's played, he's done quite well.
I think Nelson will be played. Arteta seems to like these youngsters. He's I know Nelson was a lot of these players were used before Arteta came in, but Arteta seems to put trust a lot of these younger players, and maybe he is going for the sort of model that we just spoke about. I don't see us bringing in someone like Willian, to be completely honest.
No,
I think it's just
well,
rumours.
it would be, yeah, horrendous. But the Clivert one I could kind of get if, well, one of the like wingers we already have, or Clivert himself could play on the left. It's like inverted, and then we'd have another
Mm,
backer if it's like if Aubameyang was to go and we had like Martinelli and Clivert for left wing, and then what we already have for the right wing. I could see
Nelson
that
and
one,
Pepe on the right.
and we've got to do something about Mkhitaryan. Like he's done. And if Roma
Yeah,
want
no,
him, for
I
God's
don't.
sake, if we can get Clivert
No,
out
no.
of it, I think that's a good deal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be the. I mean, it would be better than having Mkhitaryan.
Hmm.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. But I think that pretty much wraps it up, apart from Arteta, who I think he deserves a bit of praise for yesterday. It came
It was
together.
good. Good team selection. Good. I said decent subs. I mean, one of his subs scored, so can't really knock that. Persisted with Nketiah up front after being criticised as well. So
I think probably an eight's probably fair.
yeah, yeah,
I think it's just, yeah, getting the job
yeah.
done.
Oh, I have the Friday feeling, so maybe give him a 9. Knee slap.
Yeah.
Just no, we'll go for 8. Sorry, I was getting overexcited.
Well, I tell you what, we'll give him a 9 if he can make it count against Sheffield at the weekend. Do you think we can win
Okay,
that one?
yep. Sheffield, I don't think they're on such good form at the
Like,
moment.
that's
Haven't
the
they
thing.
lost
Are they
2 games
falling
back to
apart?
back, 3-0?
Are they finished for
I
the
hope
season?
so. For our sake. For our sake, I hope so.
Well, it would put us into a semi-final of the FA Cup. I was reading,
That would be
like,
nice, wouldn't it?
is it right that we like have guaranteed Norwich in the semi-final as well, or is that not
I,
true?
I, I don't know.
Oh,
What
no,
is
I
the
think
other
that they're
game?
playing United. They're playing United. I think that must have been someone joking that they'll beat knockout United and then we'll get them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we
Okay,
will have
maybe not then.
United in the semi-final, which again think we should win that game. We are
Let's.
better than United. I know the table isn't suggesting it.
Oh.
Well, maybe not right now in current form, but in terms of when we've played them over the last like couple of seasons, I feel like we've been the better side in most of those games.
Yes, but they've looked better than us this year, and you can
It's
only base it on that,
it's only at the wheel actually
unfortunately.
working. But yeah, back to Sheffield.
Yeah.
Do you think we
I,
can
I,
win it?
I I think they're there for the taking. So
I'd like to think so. Is is it Egan? Is he out of our game or did he already serve that ban? Because I know he got a red card recently. That might have been in the last match actually.
was it a straight red?
Yeah,
Then I would assume you're missing the game.
hopefully. I mean, I've never been that worried. Their strikers, there's not a lot going on with it there. They just play so well as a team and they're so solid. But that solidity just doesn't seem to be there at the moment. I'd like to put it maybe at another 2-0.
Yeah.
If we
2-1. I'm
yeah,
gonna say 2-1. That's my prediction.
stick with what we had. Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know if there's anyone coming back from injury. Are we ever going to see Ozil
Um,
again, or is he just finished?
maybe it's a game that he's gonna play, FA Cup game,
But no, it
rotate the
can't
team a
be. It
little.
can't be because like surely I think Arteta is going to be really going for this one because it's all we have left to play for in this season. And despite what a lot of us fans believe that we shouldn't be in Europe next season, the club's going to want that money that comes with that.
Yeah,
And
obviously they're not going to look at it like that. I think Arteta was asked in his press conference before the Southampton game if he would think so season out of Europe would benefit the team, and he was just like, I want to win every game,
yeah,
which
I
is
think he
fair
even
enough.
said
I
when he
mean,
joined, he wants to win everything. So
yeah,
we're
so
going
he
to go
wants to
for
win
it.
every game. If that means we'll end up in Europe, we're getting ahead of ourselves saying this, but
I tell you what,
if
though,
we do win the FA Cup, it's a
yeah,
trophy.
it would be it'd
That
be
means
so
more.
nice to like just put a plaster on this horror of a season. Like I know what we can't do is have this bloody thing whenever we win an FA Cup and the fans suddenly think that everything's fixed again. But it would just be like just a nice change of pace. But we're well ahead of ourselves because there's 3 more games
Yeah,
to win. So
yeah,
yeah, I think 2-0, 2-1. We shall see how it
yeah.
goes. That's on the Sunday, isn't it? So yeah, I don't know
It is.
if we might have another episode coming out on Monday, but we will see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed listening. Chuck us some more comments and yeah, share it around if you like it, and obviously smash that subscribe button. Thanks for joining me again, AP. It's been a pleasure.
As always.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next time.
Nice one. Goodbye.